Battle with autism. They're fighting not just to help their child, but to change the course of medical research. NBC's chief science correspondent Robert Bazell has their story. Hi, Bob. Good morning.
Good morning, Katie. 1 in 500 children is born autistic, and that's tragic because it's a terrible brain disorder. But it is made far worse because, as you can see, these children, they look perfectly normal. What they lack is the ability to communicate like the rest of us. And as Portia and John Iversen discovered, efforts to help these kids have been hampered by unfounded myths and a lack of good science.
Somewhere between the age of 1 and 2, Dove went from what we thought was a normal little kid to a kid with autism, and the onset was devastating. It was dramatic. It was frightening as hell.
Dovey.
I just remember sitting by his crib at night and just crying and crying because I knew that while he was laying there in his little crib, he was slipping away every minute. I knew it. I could tell.
Portia Iversen, now a full-time advocate for autism, was an Emmy Award-winning set designer. Her husband, John Shestak, is a successful movie producer. Together, they lived a charmed life until their first son, Dove, was diagnosed with autism. Why is it so devastating to have a child with autism?
How would you feel if your 18-month-old or 2-year-old, your beautiful little child who's saying "Mama" and looking at you,
Come on back.
and then one day they're not answering to their name?
Hey, Dovey, look up at me.
What happened? It's as if someone stole your child from you. It's a kidnapping. In anybody's language, in any time, in any space, this would be considered a remarkable tragedy.
And it's a tragedy that is not well understood. Some autistic children, perhaps 1%, are savants, like Dustin Hoffman's character in Rain Man, with an incredible genius for odd bits of information.
What do I have left? 2 jacks, 1 8, 1 king, 1 6, 2 aces, 1 10, 1 9, 1 5. 1 5.
But most are not. Though the disease strikes with a wide range of severity, all autistic children withdraw into a world of their own and have extreme difficulty communicating with their parents or anyone else.
Show me what you want to eat for lunch.
Dove's autism is severe, so despite constant attention from his parents and from Erica, his full-time therapeutic companion,
Would you like some juice?
at age 6 he is still unable to speak at all.
I want waffle. Good talking, Dove, all right.
A stark contrast to his younger siblings, Miriam 5 and Gabriel 2, both healthy children.
Here comes your water.
I know that he loves us, and I know we love him, but I don't know that he understands it when I tell him. I know it because I look in his eyes, and I know it. But he can't tell us anything. I mean, he can't tell us if he has a toothache or why he's crying in the middle of the night.
Want to put your pajamas on and go to sleep?
Desperate to both understand and help their son, John and Portia turned to the medical establishment, but were in for a big shock.
So we said, okay, what's there in medicine? There wasn't anything in medicine. And then we'd say, well, they must be doing research. But there was no they. There just wasn't.
John and Portia quickly learned that the federal government spent barely any money on autism research, and what little science there was scattered between agencies, with little coordination or sense of direction. Why was autism ignored when a lot of other things weren't?
Mental disorders are ignored because they're not pretty, right? Parents felt bad. They felt ashamed. They thought maybe they had caused it, so they didn't get out there.
Are you ready for a massage?
The idea that parents might somehow cause a child's autism is a strange legacy of the past. Today, the experts know that autism is a terrible disease of the brain that has nothing to do with a child's upbringing.
Feels pretty exciting, huh?
Portia and John understand that, so they decided to change not only perceptions, but the very direction of medical research.
That was good. That was very good.
They started by forming an organization called Cure Autism Now that would become the voice of parents around the country.
If it's destroying the lives of, whole generations of children, why hasn't more been done?
What began as a grassroots operation now boasts 18,000 supporters and provides more funding for autism research than any other private organization in the country. They are also lobbying Congress for millions more research dollars. But Portia and John soon came to learn that more than money was at stake. They would have to persuade top scientists, already busy with other projects, to become interested in studying autism, a condition everybody had written off as hopeless.
Good job, Dove. Nice, Dove.
What I think a lot of people don't realize, and what we certainly didn't realize, was that, science, it's not like the clergy, it's a business.
To lure the scientists, to pique their interest, Portia learned to speak their language, soon gaining expert technical knowledge about autism that put her on par with the researchers.
So the quinolinic acid could actually be very much more damaging in a sense. Doesn't it affect NMDA receptors?
As a result of their efforts, increasing numbers of top-level scientists are now studying autism.
Dove, ready?
One major focus, genetics. Autism is not simply inherited, but it can run in families. Portia, John, and many scientists believe that finding genes associated with the disease will be the first step toward understanding it.
Wow, back and forth.
So the organization set up a huge gene bank with DNA from families where more than one child has autism. For scientists, it could be a goldmine of knowledge.
When we do genetic studies, the likelihood of finding something is almost inevitable, and that's why we put so much emphasis on genetics.
While they wait for the science, Portia and John provide Dove with constant and intense interaction in the hope of bringing him out of his autistic shell. Research shows that this intense interaction, started at the youngest age possible, can dramatically improve IQ levels in 50% of autistic children.
Let me see the one.
For now, it is their best hope.
Look, they built a castle.
Long term, they hope that the scientific effort they put into motion will bring far better therapies, and maybe even someday, a cure.
Listen.
Can you imagine the telephone ringing and the scientist saying, I found the gene, we're on our way to a treatment, we're on our way to a cure?
I not only can imagine it, I completely 100% expect it, and I expect that call within 2 years.
There is no single gene that causes autism. There are many. But if scientists find just one, it will be that crucial first step toward understanding what goes wrong in the brains of these beautiful children. Katie?
Oh, Bob, thank you. What an incredible couple.
Amazing.
Wow.
They're really going to make a difference.
Well, if you want more information on John and Portia's organization, Cure Autism Now, you can log on to our website at today.msnbc.com. And we'll be back with more Today right after this.